Hey guys, we are back to Defense in Heels, and we have the awesome Steve Cardian, and we are talking about the new superpower for women. If you guys have not read this book, it is amazing. Go to janejitsu.com and grab it now. It is the best and is actually working its way up the charts to be the best book for women right now. And it's not just, hey, women going off to college. It is all ages, all demographics. It's everything a woman needs to know about their superpower. So Steve, can you tell us a little bit more about what a woman's superpower is?
Well, again, there's a variety of things. It was almost based upon the fact that we've kind of let common sense run awry. So going back to the basics, just going back to the basics that your mom and dad told you when you were a kid, even your grandparents, that's going to give you a boost in your safety world.
Definitely. I love it. And there's many different aspects of the book in here. Actually, myself and Danny were just talking about the lovely sides of online dating and how much fun that can be in this day and age. Steve, can you slightly talk about the different precautions that women need to take with the online dating?
Yeah, they want to create a separate email account. They don't want to have something that they can be tracked on. Never give out your phone number, especially not the first few times.
No,
that you do
I used a fake phone number.
Don't allow them to send. I'm sorry?
I used a fake phone number. I got a Google number that transferred over. It looked real, and it wasn't.
Yep. Yeah, no, exactly. And the less information you give up about yourself, the safer you'll be, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's not all that well in the head.
Oh yeah, that does happen all the time. Just do a couple of text messages back and forth between these guys and you realize that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in the book you talk a lot about the blueprint that women need to have. Can you tell us more about what we need to know about that blueprint? Don't give away too much info though, because I want them to go buy the book too.
Well, the blueprint is creating a plan of action for something that could go wrong in your daily life. In law enforcement, we call it visualization. In the military, they call it emergency conditioning, whereby if you think about something vividly enough, that your brain would create a file for it as if you've actually done it.
Right.
And it's a file, may not be perfect, depending upon your circumstances, but it's something to go to in a time of stress or crisis. And it'll help you also control that adrenal response.
Definitely. In the psychology world, we call it the cognitive development, and keeping that basic information in there, just like writing something down and putting it into your brain.
Yeah, it's very important. And you can start with little dribs and drabs. You're leaving your house or you're leaving work and you walk out in the parking lot and you see somebody that makes you feel uncomfortable. What would you say? Even they call it when you go to the grocery store and you go at the end of the line, and all of a sudden you get there and they want you to donate $2 or $3 to something that you know nothing about.
Every single time.
Exactly. It's called checkout charity. The same with, the salesmen and kiosks. Have a prearranged response so that you don't have to think about it. You already know what you're going to say, and you'll be less likely to reach into your pocket. And that goes for just about everything. The predator needs to engage you. He needs to be in close contact with you, and he will likely conduct some sort of an interview.
Definitely. And we as women, we don't want to offend anybody. We're always worried about hurting somebody's feeling or not being the nice person. And, we're raised to be that proper lady. So having that prepared response helps us to keep that, sense of self, but also that protection mode of making sure that I stay safe, or my children who are usually with me are safe at all times as well.
Yeah, it's okay to be not nice.
Yes, which is not what women are trained to do.
No, but when you tell them that it's okay, how I do my soft challenge, hard challenge?
Exactly.
The minute I tell a young lady, just take a couple steps back, they're like, oh, the light bulb goes off in their head. And it's the same with, you already having a prearranged. If somebody makes you uncomfortable, you can say whatever you want, scream as loud as you can. You'll likely never see these people again. And the good thing, you never can rely on anybody coming to your aid, but the predator, right, he doesn't know that. And
exactly.
He's concerned with two things, getting caught and getting hurt, either of which will send him to a softer target.
Exactly. And the gals, there's a couple of you on here who have been to my self-defense classes. I always talk about that I would rather be the crazy lady and make it home tonight as opposed to the dead lady and now my kids and my shoes have nowhere to go. So.
Yeah. the predator relies on the compliant fear factor. He's going to say something that will instill fear in you that will cause you to comply. And you'll want to believe if you do what I say and you won't get hurt. But that could be the farthest thing from reality, is that if he does get you to the secondary location, whether it's an acquaintance or a stranger, it's unforgiving.
Exactly. That secondary location is the worst possible place that you can ever go to. And I teach that in all my classes, and I know you do as well, because I've learned that message from you. Never go to a secondary location with somebody you don't know, to which include that online dating, gals, too. That too.
Online dating, there's a lot of people that have had a lot of good success, and there's a lot of people that haven't.
Right. No, when I always tell the girls to go somewhere very public. I mean, here I'm in Vegas, so we can go anywhere and it's public, but you never go to somebody's house. Like, what kind of craziness is that?
They call it IRL in real life. It's better to get and be able to judge someone and get a feeling for them, get that gut feeling, where you can't always read it in his words.
Right.
So by meeting someone in person or and it's not always. We live in a crazy world. We live in a digital world.
So true.
And this is the trend today. This is how you're going to meet people from just not on your block.
Exactly. And gals, if you have not seen this book, this is a little section on the blueprint, but he actually breaks down what to do and how to do it and why you should have a blueprint and, different things with it. Oh, look, here's a section on catcalling. I mean, back into that online stuff. But no, girls, definitely pick up this book. Moms, buy it for your daughters. Everybody needs to read this book. And Steve, tell us real quick about Jane Jiu-Jitsu before we get out of here.
Well, Jane Jitsu is a program. We create instructors all across the country and around the world. They've come from Kenya, they've come from Ireland, England, Spain, Malaysia, Australia, Japan, and they go back to their communities and they teach our self-defense program and our safety aspects. And that's one of the reasons I wrote the book. It allows me to spend more time on the hands-on, let them read the book, and a lot of our instructors are using it as a guideline or as a lesson plan.
Oh, definitely. A lot of this information you've been talking with me about for years, so I already had that information, but then to have it in a book that I can say, hey, here's a book, go read it, and then come back and ask me all your questions, it works much easier that way. And gals, again, this is one of those books that is a must-read for anybody at any age. My 13-year-old has read it, and everybody else needs to read it as well. You just don't know what kind of situation you're going to be put into until you're put into it. So, and this breaks down different situations that you can go into, so we can go back into that cognitive development and recession on there as well. So
it's a great guideline for safety.
Definitely. Well, Steve, we've got 2 minutes left. Tell me your favorite self-defense technique or tip, or just one last stinger that I can leave with everybody.
I talk about it in every class that I do. Is my first experience with intuition, where I was on a beach and a boy had buried himself alive and his 2 feet were sticking out. And I actually saved his life when 20 adults were standing around frozen in fear, not knowing what to do. And a part of that is that I had read about doing rescue breathing, and I perform mouth-to-mouth by just reading a pamphlet. So that's where the blueprint comes in. And that was my first experience with intuition. I had planned on walking about 20 minutes away. I got 5 minutes into the walk, and I said, we have to go back. And I convinced my girlfriend to go back, and if we hadn't, he wouldn't be alive today.
Exactly. And then you were able to meet some of his family members that I found out were friends of mine a couple of years ago too, which was crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
World.
Inside Edition reunited us on the beach that I saved them on
so amazing.
last spring.
That is awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out to the show. I can't wait to see you next week. And gals, buy this book, janejitsu.com. And if you have not taken your self-defense class, get on there. Find a local person who's certified in this class. It's so amazing. It's one of the classes I teach out here. It is my favorite one to teach. So make sure you guys are on top of your self-defense training and you have everything that you need. Have a great night, guys.